What advice would you be giving to young journalists coming up today, especially recognizing all the changes, the bankruptcies, and all those other things? What advice would you give young journalists or young people in business today?
Go for it. It's the greatest profession in the world, I think. You're always learning. Every profession where you're always being educated and learning new things, that's the greatest asset of all. That's to learn. And I think that that's what you have to do in journalism. You're always being corrected. You're always trying to seek information and to grow. So I would say go for it, even though it's a very frustrating time and a bad time. I still wouldn't avoid
Still
it.
do it. Because there's stories to be told, and I think that's what reporters do. What is your fondest favorite memory?
Fondest favorite memory? I think I've been very lucky to go to the White House and to watch history being made every day. I mean, I see so many people outside at the fence and so forth, and they say, "What's going on in there?" I say, "Well, is the president there?" I say, "Yes, he's there." And you only wish you could open the gates and say, "Come on in. I mean, it's your house." Every time I've heard one president and after another say, "This is your house. This is the White House. I mean, it belongs to the American people." So every time they give me a hard time with the staff and the press office, I say, "This is my house." The president said so. No, my house, baloney.
Okay, so this is a great question, Dave. We've always seen you in the color red. Is there some significance to you wearing green today?
Merry Christmas.
Yeah. All right, and you've got so many here. I think what we may do is take some of these questions and write them up, and since you like to write anyway and tell stories, maybe submit all these to you and let you answer them too. But
sure.
let's close with this one. Do you agree with the idea that the press is the unofficial fourth branch of government? And if so, is this a good thing?
Absolutely. I think you have to have an independent watchdog. I think that you should never have just government officials, and that's why I think it was so important in the motorcade in Dallas that it had an outside observer, because every commission that I've seen has fallen short of telling the truth. That goes for 9/11, that goes for the Pearl Harbor Commission. They leave unanswered, or they else think things are too detrimental to the public for the public to know. So I think having journalists who can be true to the facts is very, very important. Outside observers. I don't say that every government official is a liar, but I do say they are protective, and they do have different reasons, and they can always justify something on national security of keeping secrets. I thought the Bush administration was one of the most secretive, but all of them are secretive. And I think that so much information that belongs in the public domain we should know about. The more information won't hurt us, but I think we can be hurt by being used in secret ways. And that whole business of torture is so abomination of our country. It disgraced us. You don't have to torture people. Serial killers don't get tortured. They get due process in this country. I think we have so tarnished our reputation by that, because we are a decent people and honorable people. You don't lose your halo for this expediency. They weren't going to. I mean, I'm not saying you can't get information out of people waterboarding, but what price glory?
That's really a profound place to leave. Let us close, because I know everybody really wants to come and have a few minutes to speak with you. What do you want to tell all of us today? What is the one thing you want to walk away from and say, I have your attention and I want you to know this. I want you to remember me about that, remember something about me in this way, or what do you want to say that you want us to go forth and tell other people that we know? What is it Helen Thomas has to
I
say?
think we should always fight for justice and equality. I think we've been lucky. We have crossed the sound barrier in having a black president. It shows the greatness is in America, that we really have been able to, as I say, cross the color line and so forth, and accept the true essence of humanity. I think it's so important for us not to forget that others have fought for the rights that we have today, and that battle isn't over for equality and justice. We should not have people at Guantanamo for 7 years and never try them, never charge them, never convict them. Who are we? What have we become? We have to do soul searching. We have to contribute. We have to ask questions, especially this comatose Congress. They have, it's unbelievable the things that they have accepted and not accepted. Well, how could they vote against people? I think that we should all participate in our government, try to make things right. It's a big order because most of us feel helpless. I don't feel helpless because I feel like I have a chance now in barrel, first time in the barrel, to ask a question of a president or a press officer. So I'm very privileged. But the American people don't have that opportunity. They do have a chance to participate. I think we should always think about why did we go to war? What is the real reason and so forth? Is it acceptable to go and kill people and be killed for what? And every other move that's made. We should be generous. Nobody should starve in this country. Nobody should lack for shelter. And nobody should lack for equality. And certainly we ought to have justice and due process, and to keep people imprisoned, as I say, for years and never charge them. They're picked off the battlefield and suddenly they've become, why wouldn't they fight for their country? Why wouldn't an Iraqi fight for a country against an invader? Why wouldn't an Afghan fight again? I mean, the only ones who won Afghanistan was Alexander the Great. The Russians in the 1980s had to leave, and they had every possible weapon, and the British also.
I think
we ought to be outraged and angry when we are so tarnished. Torture.
I think it's interesting. We now have a chance to interview you, and I'm really glad that you had an opportunity to share your opinions, your thoughts.
I bet.
We really, really are. Helen, you're amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I didn't expect to be so probed. I don't like being questioned. I want to ask the questions.
You did a good job. You survived it.
Thank you.
This is wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you.